Canada's waterways. An abundance of fresh and saltwater coastline makes boating for recreation the first thought in many Canadian minds. When most people think of boating, they think of luxury cruisers or yacht clubs. But thousands have found relaxation in smaller, more affordable boats. We're about to show you how inexpensively you can become a weekend or vacation boater and begin your pride in ownership. There are several ways to find an affordable boat, like boat shows in Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal, or marina billboards.
Oh, here's what we're looking for.
Classified ads.
There's one. Let's check that one out.
Driving in your neighborhood. Or searching for antiquity. Simply a visit to your local marine dealer can do the job. Maybe you prefer sailing, powerboating, cruising, or nostalgia. The Adam family found their escape, looked it over, loved it, and bought it.
In other words, we got a deal?
Yes, sir.
Good things.
Kids, we got ourselves a new boat.
Oh, great!
Now a visit to the store to pick up supplies. And then to work. Safety is the first thought when kids get into the act. Scrubbing and cleaning under the command of the first mate. The captain gives the ship an added capability by adding another safety feature, a depth finder. Number one puts in the decorative touch. The teak is bleached, then oiled. Small repairs may be necessary. Fiberglass, although very durable, presents a different problem than wood when it comes to patching, and Adam found expert help from a friend who is a fiberglass professional. Back at the boat, Dave learns the problem.
Okay, Dave, here's one of the areas that I was telling you about on the boat. I see like there's little cracks around it here.
Yeah, I think what I'll have to do to start with is remove the stanchion here and get a look at it. What I'll do is grind away and find out if in fact these cracks actually do go into the glass.
Okay.
If they do, we'll have to use your fiberglass repair kit. If not, then it's just a simple gel coat job, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Now we grind this now?
Yeah, okay. That's okay.
All right. Should I get the goggles on for safety?
It's a good idea, it helps. You have your eyes. Okay?
Okay.
There we go. Watch this thing. Okay, and we're definitely not going to need your fiberglass repair kit.
Oh, good.
If there was a structural problem, what you'd see is white in this fiberglass.
Right.
That's where the glass is starting to pull apart and delaminate. But that's not happening. All that's wrong here is that the gel has been cracking, and what that calls for is just a little bit of gel laid in there and then rolled over to match this no skid. Okay, before I actually do the gel repair, put some gel on top, I'm just going to put in a little bit of filler so it can be fair.
So this is filler rather than gel coat.
Yeah, and the stuff I just put on is catalyst. And the one thing you want to make sure before you put any of this filler on or polyester resin for fiberglassing or gel is that you get the stuff catalyzed.
What does that actually do, Dave?
Well, it's a two-part system, and some people have tried to put it all together without using the second part, or the catalyst, and it just doesn't set. It just stays a liquid gut like this.
The catalyst helps it harden?
That's right.
Okay.
Best thing to do is just to read the instructions. Okay, now that I have this all smooth here, I'm going to put a piece of tape along the outside so that there's no gel coat on this outside railing. And then after that, I'll put a little bit just up here so that the glass doesn't end up with gel all over it also, so that we can confine the area of the repair. Okay, and once again, the catalyst, you can't forget that. Okay, and it's pretty straightforward from here, just any old small roller like this to match the surface that was on there before, which was originally rolled on in pretty much the same way. Don't play with it too much. It hopefully blends into the outside no skid surface. There you go.
The job is finished, looks like new, and the cost is minimal. Previous owners come back to congratulate the Adams on the way they spruced up the boat. Now some instruction on how to sail, the use of lines, tying knots, and discussing what sailing courses can be taken this fall and winter to make it possible for Captain Adam and his crew to visit the waterways of Canada's national parks and have a pleasant and economical family vacation this summer. Dave and Don found their boat in a neighbor's yard, just a boat to suit their needs. They inspect it while the present owner looks on.
Well, let's take it. All right. Okay. All right, we're gonna take it.
Decided, have you, fellas?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you get a certified check then, and I'll get the ownership ready for you and come back and pick it up.
Fine. Good.
They strike a deal,
Thanks.
and it's goodbye. The interesting part of this deal is that the lads paid for the cost of this boat from summer jobs and found it well within their budget. So they take it home to begin their rejuvenation. They'll probably come out at least less than half the list price of a new boat. Cleaning up is okay, but let's abide by the family rules. And you know, sometimes Father knows best.
Fellas, I told you when you bought this boat, I let you buy it, that you were going to keep it in the garage, and you're going to keep all the mess in there, and here you got it all over the driveway.
Well, we're just gonna clean it up outside, and we'll put it back in there.
Well, for sure now. Okay.
The boys begin to look for problems, if any, with the motor. They remove the cover and look at the plugs. They have to check the manual for gap.
What's the gap?
Plug wrench is used,
25,000.
and the plugs are checked.
Yeah. You have the gapper? Yeah, they do.
Spaced, then cleaned
Perfect.
and replaced.
Let's check the rest.
I'm sure that the boys have checked the fuel filter. It has to be removed, blown clear, and then put back. Every nut, bolt, and screw should be checked because of the vibration.
What do I do now?
Well, it's time to check the lower unit.
First, remove the air vent screw. And that's a slot.
Now, these lads took motor mechanics at school, and this stands them in good stead for repairing and checking out their new motor.
Okay. Remove the filler plug. And that's a slotted plug directly below the air vent screw.
When it comes time to check the motor's operation, several things should be remembered. This is an outboard motor.
Now you insert
The lower unit has to be immersed in water before starting because it's a water-cooled engine.
filler plug.
The
Okay.
boys will use a
In there.
garbage pail full of water and set the lower unit right down in it.
Stop. And then put the screws back in.
They got her filled with grease, and it's time to check the engine.
I'm sure we get those on.
Oh, that's enough water. Feasible.
Okay, good. All right, I think we're ready to start the motor up, David. You want to see it'll run?
Okay.
There must be something wrong because there's supposed to be water coming out of the exhaust and there'll be water coming out of here. What did the manual say about that?
Well, I read it, and it said you shouldn't run it without it. There should be a stream of water coming out.
Well, that's a sign that maybe the water pump's not working.
No.
Yeah, so I think what you better do, you better take it to a marine dealer and see what you can do about getting it fixed professionally. I think really, because you got a big investment here. I'll tell you what you better do today. I'd like to finish the day off. Why don't you paint the motor, it needs it, with that special paint, and paint the trailer. What do you think?
Let's take it for a run anyway.
Oh, you don't want to wreck the motor, do you? Come on, fellas. Well, just paint the motor and get it in shape and...
You want to go skiing today?
Like all young fellas, the boys are impatient. But Dad talks them into the dress-up jobs. A little painting, a little touching up. And the next day, they take their motor to the marine dealer. The mechanic tells them that this engine, which is 15 years old, has to have a new water pump impeller. The factory-trained mechanic and the well-equipped service department at your local marine dealer is usually the best answer to your problems. All done, back on the boat, and shipshape. At the dock, the boys have an unexpected visitor.
All right, finally get to go skiing.
Yeah, when's George getting here?
I think he said about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Hi, fellas.
Hi. Before you take your boat out, I'd like to give you a safety check.
All right.
I'd like to see the safety equipment that you're required to carry in a boat this size. Can you show me 2 life jackets, please?
Yes, sir.
That's a good one. Can you show me 2 paddles, please? Here's one. Good. Good. And your bailer? Some way of getting the water out? There it is up there.
Yes.
Good, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's all the law requires that you carry, fellas, in a boat this size. Do you carry anything else for safety?
Yes, we have a set of flares.
Oh, good. Good. That's a good one. Anything else? Anchor? Yeah, we have an anchor. That's good, don't bring it out. That's fine. Fire extinguisher? Fire extinguishers are like life jackets. They've got to be approved by the underwriter laboratories. And they always put a stamp right on it. Right there. That's good. As long as the pressure's up, it's fine. Okay. We have an extra hand pump. Good. I don't smell any gas, so your lines all seem to be okay. Yeah. Can you put your lights on for me?
Yes.
Good.
Well, here's what they've been dreaming about, and it's all coming true. And their afternoon will cost no more than a family outing at the movies. Thinking safety first again, notice in the boat, 1 operator and 1 to look after the skiers' needs. Then the inevitable happens. A friend goes by like you're standing still using a larger engine. So the boys get the bug, and they're off to the boat show. Here they look at a 50 horsepower, and the salesman parades the virtue of his product. They're interested also in the boats. But that's a decision that will have to wait until after next year's summer jobs. A look at other safety equipment is always a good idea. See what's new in life-saving and safety devices. Well, they like their aluminum boat and their 40 horsepower motor. It's doing a good job and they're enjoying their summer skiing. Maybe next year Dave and Don will move up.
Bonjour, je suis Régent Champagne. Il me fait plaisir de vous accueillir à bord de notre embarcation et en premier lieu, j'aimerais vous présenter ma famille.
Régent and Louise Champagne, with their two children, Marie and Francois, show their pride and joy. A converted lifeboat made of aluminum was taken from a grain transport barge used in the St. Lawrence Seaway. Their boat was brought to their home, drawn by a team of horses. The Champagnes started their reconstruction by removing the old paint from the hull. They built a deck, and Louise helped back the rivets. They built a cabin and used such interesting details as portholes, which actually came from tugboats. The glass in these ports is 3/4 of an inch thick. Régent made the wheel by starting with a few basic pieces of scrap metal that he had melted down and molded into the wheel. A very original mounting for the control gauges. It's an old porthole with the glass removed and replaced with brass. They cut out holes for the gauges. The bell comes from an old rural school, and it's at least 100 years old. Louise shows the horn. She said it's very precious to them and is also considered an antique. Their cruises have permitted them to learn a lot about local geography. Places like the Rideau River, Lake Champlain, and the kids learned a lot about the locks and the villages they passed on their way. Cruising up to Montebello gave them an opportunity to experience the hospitality of the Montebello Harbor. They went horseback riding, swam in the pool, and of course kept everything shipshape on their boat, which they claim is not a burden, actually a pleasure. The cabin is a bedroom by night, a galley by day, and a rec room when the weather turns. We don't have all the luxuries of a large boat, they say. We spend most of our time on deck, where we eat and sunbathe. And when we're at anchor or in a marina, we raise the canvas to give us additional room. It used to take us 20 hours to reach Montreal. Then we changed to a 4-cylinder gas engine, and it cut our trip to 10 hours. We're going to the boat show in Montreal tomorrow to see a new diesel engine that will probably save us 2 hours more on the trip. The motor we're interested in is a 2-cylinder diesel, and we can cruise then at considerably less than our present cost. Diesels are definitely a future project for us. We love our boat, and it would be impossible to get rid of it. But with the new motor, it'll be a pleasant change. Most people think to navigate our waters requires a boat that costs thousands of dollars. The Champagne story proves that a boat of modest cost with safety in mind and a diesel engine makes it all possible and not expensive. The Champagnes say it's a chance for their children to learn about the Parliament buildings, the Ottawa Museum, science centers, and so on. We've all enjoyed our cruises, but we always look forward to coming to our home port, Sorel. I hope when you get your boat, you enjoy it as much and inexpensively as we have ours. Earlier when we spoke of nostalgia, we weren't referring to living in the past, but bringing yesterday up to today. As many as 100,000 people visit the Manitech Boat Show, the Toronto Boat Show, and Clayton, New York, just to view antique and vintage boats. Varnished and polished and wearing gleaming chrome, they flaunt their beauty and grace to an eager crowd of admirers. Probably the reason for the popularity of this sport is that some of these boats can be bought quite reasonably. And after repairing a few things, you're in the boat business. Every time you have a few extra dollars, you refurbish or replace original equipment, windshields, convertible tops, fixtures. Now, some folks like a challenge, the challenge of restoring older boats. Bill and Dave Cook found their prize in a factory parking lot, an old Shepherd runabout like Bill owned in his youth. Young Dave had studied woodworking, so they decided it would be a good mutual venture. Looking it over, Bill's pleased, even a 6-cylinder gas marine engine. The interior looks pretty good. The owner arrives, and they talk shop, or should I say boat. They like it, and they buy it. So now the fun begins. Few places need wood repairs, but that's Dave's thing, and he can hardly wait to get started. The first job is to strip off all the old finish. Loose plugs must be removed, screws reset or replaced as necessary. Plugs should be cut from a matching plank so that the plugs will match the color and grain of the wood. Years ago, craftsmen used to cut all plugs from the planks being used on the boat, and then a number kept for future use. When the plugs are glued and then tapped into place, be sure you match up the grain. Plugs are cut off with a sharp chisel and then sanded. Old caulking should be removed and replaced with fresh. Where dry rot exists, wood must be removed. Dry rot is caused by a fungus that attacks the wood fibers and it crumbles like powder. To help prevent dry rot, use good preservatives and finishes. The new plank is fitted and set into place. When the plank is fastened, it pulls into place to conform to the shape of the hull. The motor has been removed and taken to a marine dealer for refitting. The floorboards and the interior planking has all been removed for inspection. It was decided that a stringer motor mount had succumbed to dry rot and had to be replaced. Using the old one as a pattern, a new one is cut and put into place. The transom boards were removed in order to facilitate batten repairs. These are the horizontal pieces of wood that Bill is fitting and are the members that support the joints in the planking. Bottom inspection shows some planks needed replacement. Bedding compound goes on the ribs before the planks are replaced to keep the water out, and copper nails are driven in and then riveted. The inner planks are running diagonally to the outer bottom planks at a 45-degree angle. This boat is double planked on the bottom. The engine hatch is sanded to get out the old stain marks and then bleached so that the old wood matches the replaced pieces. A piece of the gunnel was replaced, so Bill took the old piece and tried different stains so they could decide on the color for their boat. Young Dave received some professional advice from Joe on how to apply a coat of marine varnish. Only then does the true finish color appear. After applying 3 coats of varnish, replacing the chrome and using a friend's trailer, they're ready to have the motor reinstalled and launch the boat. Bill and Dave had completed their father and son project, and now they're ready to show off their rewarding pastime. Isn't she a beauty? Probably bound for the antique boat show to take her place among her contemporaries. Boating. If it's just a dream, make it a reality. Contact your local marine dealer and you'll receive information to help you begin a new family adventure where even the little ones can become part of the crew. Try boating. When the day is done and you're coming back into your home port, sun-tanned, wind-blown and weary, satisfied that the whole family has realized a togetherness out there that's only possible on the water. You'll agree with the old sailor's quote, "Who would be a boatman except for the joy of it?"